All right, so our first stop here is Verdun Auditorium. We can't get out of the car because this place is going under renovation, and well, there's no parking anywhere around it. So this place was built in 1876. This, I guess, the old part, and as you can see, there's a new part being added. A lot of bands played here in the 1990s. I've seen, actually in '87 I saw Alice Cooper here, the Nightmare Returns tour, and
the big show here was Nirvana too.
That's right, Nirvana played here in November 2, 1993, I believe.
92, I think.
Was it 92?
I'm not sure, we gotta check.
And actually that was the last show ever to be played in Montreal, because he died 5 months later. Another thing that I've seen here is also
Blind Melon?
Blind Melon. They were opening up for Lenny Kravitz, and yeah, and we're back. Technical difficulties. What we're saying that, yeah, Blind Melon opened up for Lenny Kravitz here, and
I'm sure Shannon Hoon passed away not too long after that show either.
About a year and a few months later, he passed away, and so that was their last show here with him. So it seems to be like a place where
kind of like a cursed venue.
Yeah, I guess. And
it was a popular spot for the grunge bands of the day.
Yep,
for sure.
And so I have a lot of good memories here. I've seen also the Black Crows over here as well.
Bye bye Verdun Auditorium.
Yep. It's from Angela's.
Yeah, local spot.
Yep, that looks good.
It's beautiful, all dressed.
Okay,
About to kill it.
We're gonna have to let you guys go. See you later.
Bye.
It's fine.
It's recording.
All right. We're gonna get this. Because everywhere we're going, the streets are blocked here in Montreal.
Off.
Everywhere.
Typical Montreal.
We haven't been getting lucky.
Look at all that orange.
This is crazy. Well, this is the site. This is what we wanted to see. This is the site of the old Spectrum. Right here. Is it? Yeah. Yeah. This
here.
Yeah, I think it is. I think
looks like they're building a condo or some development going on.
I believe this was it. Was it yeah, there was a TD next to it, from what I know. Yeah, basically that was a very known place in Montreal for rock shows. I've seen,
Who have you seen there?
I've seen, the first thing I've seen there is George Thurgood. When the place wasn't called Spectrum, it was called
Club Montreal.
Club Montreal. I've seen Lucinda Williams. I've seen Social Distortion. I've seen what's the Stray Cat guy's name again?
Brian Setzer.
Brian Setzer band twice. I've seen them there. I've seen John Hyatt there. I mean,
some big names.
Some very, very big names, and they just sold it off for Prime Real Estate. The owners, it was owned by Spectra, which owns a lot of venues in town, and it was sold off by them. But a lot of great memories there, and a lot of people have seen some amazing shows. I mean, when it was Club de Montréal, the police came up with their station wagon, drove up straight in front and unloaded.
That is so punk rock.
Yeah.
I believe before it was called Club Montréal, it was called Théâtre Alouette. It had a few names.
Yeah, that was before my time.
And there's also the album on, you could stream it on Spotify, that King Crimson live album. It's amazing. The lineup with Adrian Ballou, Tony Levin, and Bill Bruford on drums. Some classic stuff, some classic prog rock. Love that album. Quality recording. From
I know
the
you're
Spectrum.
you're more into.
I'm more into that. I
You're
know.
more into prog, you know.
Yeah.
Me, I'm more of the Ramones types rock music.
You're the 3-chord guy. I'm the 10-chord guy.
That's it. Give me the 3 chords with a lot of soul, and it's enough for me. They don't have to try to impress me.
Look at this guy.
You know, so yeah, you know, it doesn't have to get fancy for it to be good.
Who
right?
needs music theory, right?
Yeah, who needs it?
Who needs that?
So yep. So now we're gonna look for the 2 other ones around this area, and we're gonna get I guess back to you once we find it.
And I could really go for some chicken chow mein.
We just had the pizza.
I know, I'm full. I'm just kidding.
We just killed it.
When he says we killed it, we did.
Yeah. Okay, there's 2 pieces left, but it was a large. It was burning hot. I have a burn here too. I have a burn on my finger from the piping hot pepperoni, because I couldn't wait to eat it, and
Worth it.
still was worth it.
Shout out Angela's.
Yeah, very, very good pizza.
It's a Concordia classic. If anyone listening is a Concordia University student, you guys know where Angela is.
Club Soda.
Ah.
Actually, Club Soda used to be on Park Avenue. It moved here like years ago. Seen a lot of good bands over here.
Foufoune Electric is pretty close too. Should be on. It is on the street.
Actually, the Brick should be.
Is it the Brick or La Brique?
La Brique, which is the next place.
Not to be confused with the furniture chain.
Yes, not to be confused with the furniture chain. In case you're easily confused, this place was to be on the upstairs. It was on this corner, I do believe, 32 St. Catherine. You see, St. Catherine has been closed off, and
A radio station here.
we're looking at the address to see where the address is. This is 9. So yes, it was, I believe, used to be here in the corner here.
Metropolis. Oh, sorry. M-Telus. It has been
Tell us
renamed.
now is right here. Yep, saw Tellus. I saw the Cult here. Saw Billy Idol here.
Of
all in the
course.
last few years.
Of course, the legendary Foufoune Electric right there.
And 281, the girls' strip bar right across the street. Steve's Music Store closed
This is after they moved.
after they moved. Correct.
The original location is, I believe, close to Bonaventure? No, Palais des Congrès.
Oh yeah, speaking of the Brick, which is 32, it was closed off, so we couldn't get to that corner. That part of St. Catharines is closed off just to pedestrians. Over there, to give you an idea, used to be really a very good rock bar. I've seen Ron Wood there with Bernard Fowler. Bernard Fowler is one of the backup singers of the Rolling Stones. They performed amazing. This is 1992. Amazing shows there. I'll give you an example of who's played there in the same week.
Go.
Dead or Alive, which is okay, not our cup of tea, but
Still
Dead
a
or
big
Alive.
name at the time.
The next day it was Bo Diddley,
Wow.
and after that it was Glass Tiger,
Apples and oranges.
and then
And
a few
kiwis.
days later it was Emmett. What was the guy's name? Kirk Emmett?
Kirk Emmett?
No, it was the Triumph. I think it was
Oh, Rick Emmett.
Rick Emmett
What's Triumph for solo?
solo.
Alright.
So this is, I'm telling you, this is in the same month,
Okay.
and the first 4 I told you is in the same week.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, and I've seen April Wine there a few times. I mean, the Ron Wood was for the tour Slide on This album. He was touring for that.
I think we have that CD.
Yep, it was an excellent show, really, really excellent show. Well, my cousin met the Rolling Stones once when they came to town, and he told Ron Wood that we saw him here. And
You remember the show?
yeah, he said thanks for supporting me. That's what he said.
Ah.
And now we're looking. I'm gonna have to go and look for this place that was. I went there for a concert when I was 15. This was 1983, and it's one of those that were you there concerts, and I believe I was probably the youngest person in the place. Everybody was I went there with my cousins. One of my cousins and myself were the youngest, me being even younger than her. We went there. This was 1983 in September. And
Which show was it?
all right, I'll tell you even before we get there. It was the Animals with the original lineup. They had just come up with an album called The Ark.
The Ark.
Or just Ark. I think it was Ark Tour, and they had a hit, The Night. This is 1983, and the guys were still alive, and well, most of them are still alive, but I mean, some of them have passed since.
And this is some time after the British invasion, House of the Rising Sun era.
Oh yeah, this is, I mean, 20 years later,
It's
maybe.
still impressive that it was the original lineup.
Original lineup, it didn't last long. The tour, I think, got even canceled a month later or something. They start fighting again or something like that.
Egos.
Yep.
Yeah. Too many egos.
So we didn't care. We were happy we saw it.
Yeah.
And now it's just trying to find what is in its place now. I'm going back. Whew, I'm 52 years old now, and that was 15 when I saw that show.
We're in the village right now.
So it's on Barrie. That's what I know. So I have to find it.
Another popular venue that's still around is the Olympia.
Yes.
Just this past year, I saw an up-and-coming band from Australia, King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. All you acid rock, psychedelic rock fans, you know them. They came with two other Australian bands, Stonefield.
Well, what are they called? Gizzard Wizard?
King Gizzard
Yeah.
and the Wizard. Oh man, now you confuse me. See?
Gizzard Wizard and the Lizard King.
Just call them King Gizzard.
King Gizzard.
Yeah. Basically, they were trying to name the band. Two of the band members wanted specific names, and they just stuck them together. That's how the story goes.
Okay.
And they came with the all-sister band, Stonefield.
Oh yeah, I saw them on that website, the Blue Van or Red
No,
Van.
it's that YouTube series, Jam in the Van.
Jam in the Van.
Yeah.
Ah, they're good. They're good. They're from Australia, right?
Yeah, it's stoner rock. They incorporate those female vocal harmonies.
And they're all sisters, I think, right?
Four sisters.
Four sisters.
And they play some heavy shit, man.
Very cool.
Also, they came with Orb, another Australian band.
Orb.
Yeah, that's a bit more experimental, but really heavy.
Like an orb, like a circle orb.
Like a circle orb, yes. Well, that's one of the loudest sets I've ever seen in my life, actually. That was very loud.
Do you think Barry's by there or there?
I think
it's more further.
I think
down.
it's east.
More east, eh?
I think so.
All right. Let's see.
All right. We're on our way to Le Palladium.
Let's see, what is it? 1650. Used to be 1650.
1650, Barry.
I remember it being on this side, but you never know. You know, I was 15.
That was a long
1711.
time ago. Getting closer.
No, we sort of like passed it.
Oh.
So I think it's part of that big building. I think it was torn down. Yep.
Well,
It does not exist anymore.
so they never built anything.
No, I think it's part of the university there or whatever it is.
Part of UQAM.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
If I'm not mistaken, it used to be that strip right there. Used to be a bunch of stuff and the Palladium was in there.
So, any famous shows at the Palladium?
Yeah, like we spoke about it, you know, the Animals. And I believe Smashing Pumpkins had played there too at the time.
They played Montreal twice in 1 year. Is that correct?
That's what it looked. I believe so. They played at the beginning of the year and at the end of the year. Or one of the times it was here, and it was for the Siamese Dream Tour.
One of my personal favorite albums.
Oh yeah,
That's some classic shoegaze right there.
it's worth it just for like each song on there is worthy of an album on its own.
What's your favorite track?
It has to be True Brock.
Sherbrooke.
Yeah,
I think for me it's Mayonnaise.
Mayonnaise is
Yeah.
my second favorite.
And I find Soma is very similar to mayonnaise. It has that vibe. It starts slow, and boom, they turn on that fuzz pedal, and it's their signature buzzsaw tone. For all you guitar nerds watching this, you know what I'm talking about. So where are we headed next?
Now, I'm looking at where we are. We're gonna go, and I'm gonna tape the place where I think is the best rock bar now in the city. Where you
Bold statement, Rafi.
Yep. And we will just reveal it later on.
Later on?
Yeah.
All right. Lettuce on the Menje.
Ah, the famous green spot.
Yep.
It's on our way.
Famous for their hot dogs. So we're currently on our way to a venue that's not closed, still open.
Where we consider it being the best venue right now in rock. Just saw a show recently there.
In Montreal.
And the band we saw is an amazing band. I mean, if you get a chance to see them, go see them. They're called Blackberry Smoke. They're from Atlanta.
Yeah, Atlanta, Georgia.
And
it's real southern rock and roll.
I mean,
and there was people from all over the United States and Canada at the show.
And this was right at the beginning of the pandemic, so I mean, maybe places closed down like a week later or so.
Yeah, this is the last show that we were able to see before bands weren't allowed playing live music because of the pandemic.
A lot of people out here, considering we're still in the middle of the pandemic in this area.
Wear your masks.
Nobody's wearing masks. Yep, very surprising. A lot of people out. Yep, a little traffic here.
No biggie.
And you'll notice that it's ironic what this club's name is, considering it's just across the street from Joe Beef. I mean, I think it's in the next block. Alright, here we are, we're moving on. Yeah, there it is. This is the Corona Theater. Best rock club, I'd say, right now.
In Montreal.
Across the street from Joe Beef. Right here.
Famous spot.
I mean, if there's any bands that I like that are coming to Corona, I won't hesitate. It's like really what I like in a rock bar.
It had a bit of a theater vibe to it.
I believe it was it was built in the 1920s, a long time ago.
And for silent film.
Right, that's right. It was built for silent film. And the sound was amazing. Amazing. And
yeah,
the band was already very tight, but the sound was...
Sound engineer did a great job.
You could see online on YouTube a few clips from the show.
They played a few covers too. They did a remake. They did like their own version of Come Together, if I recall correctly.
I think I have a few small clips I'll probably post on our website. If not, you can still find
on our YouTube channel.
On our YouTube channel, because I wasn't able to film too many long things, but I could put maybe a clip of it, just so you could get a taste of what these guys can do. Really impressive. Now that's a band. If you're wondering what they sound like, they're basically, I wouldn't be surprised if their favorite band was the Black Crowes. That's what they sound like.
And mix that with some Lynyrd Skynyrd, maybe some Molly Hatchet.
I believe they do a few Lynyrd Skynyrd covers as well. Surprisingly, they did absolutely no covers on that night.
They did.
I thought it was the Leonard Skinner song. It was not.
Oh, you're talking about Leonard Skinner covers, because
Yeah.
they did a Beatles cover.
Yeah, a Beatles cover. Yeah, they mixed into a Beatles cover.
Yeah. So
Yes.
right now we're in the Little Burgundy district of Montreal.
Which somehow there's a lot of people. Don't look like 2 meters to me. Yep. I guess it's over. Pandemic's over.
Okay, I guess summer's not canceled.
Summer's not canceled. Pandemic's over.
Let me out of the car. I'm gonna go get a beer.
I won't be surprised if there's a terrace open around here.
Another great place if you're into shakes, milkshakes, orange crush shakes with a little rum in it. Foie gras, right there.
Really?
That's your spot.
Never been there.
They have a nice menu too. Just make sure you make a reservation.
Really?
Yeah.
For milkshakes?
Well, I didn't need to, but it wasn't a busy night. Usually it's a packed house.
Why would I take reservations for a milkshake?
No, not for a milkshake, but you know, if you're gonna eat something.
All right. Foie gras. I don't know if it's gonna be the first place I'd go to if I'm in this area. There's so many great restaurants along this street. I'm gonna be driving down Notre Dame now, and we're gonna head now to West Island, where a landmark in that area is gonna be closing. Citizen groups tried to fight it, not to have the place torn down, but
500 people showed up to this, I guess, a town hall meeting, and I believe it was even a Supreme Court case.
sometimes you know, it depends on your point of view.
You can't win them all.
You want progress, you want modernization, or do you want to be reminiscing about this, which gives the property owner no value whatsoever, for him to keep it open just so you could reminisce about the good old days. It's about making money. It's business. I actually saw Eric Burden years after I saw the animals at the Palladium. I saw Eric Burden here. He was playing 2 nights, one night at this venue and then the other night downtown. And it was a good show. If anybody knows Eric Burden from the Animals, he has a bit of a temper. So I heard the second night. All right, I think we're nearing the Pioneer.
So right now, in the West Island borough of Pointe Claire, weather's nice, everybody's out.
Again, another town where it doesn't seem to be a pandemic here. This is crazy. Pretty crazy, let me tell you. I guess it's only around my house where they're doing the 2 meter thing.
5 kilometer radius from our house.
This is crazy. There's just too many people out here. Nobody following directives. Check out the lineup to go buy flowers there. Wild Willies. Oh my God. Look at the amount of people out here. Check this out. Yep, we're in traffic because of the amount of people. And then we're wondering why there's so many cases in Montreal. This is crazy. Could you feel the shock in my voice?
Oh yeah. Much shock.
There's much shock.
This guy's been driving like shit all day. I think I'm gonna die.
It's been 4 hours. It's 4 hours, man, because of all the detours.
We dedicated this whole day to filming. I think by the time we're done with it, it's gonna be supper time.
Oh,
Is that guy okay? Fell off his bike.
yeah, fell off his bike.
Strange times we're living in.
Hey, Le Moulin Lafayette. I used to own one of these.
Ah, here we go. The famous Pioneer.
The famous Pioneer. Take a good look because that's what it's gonna look like later. The picture up there. Oh yeah. Can't believe it. Been here a few times.
Nice little town.
Ah, this Gigi Pizzeria, I think it's pretty... No?
I've never heard of it.
Alright, I think you should go get us some drinks, man.
Alright. Give me your wallet.
That's what I thought. So we just came back from the road, and so what'd you think about it? How did it go?
So I think our little excursion was a success.
Okay.
It was kind of sad seeing all those old venues not being occupied by loud rock music anymore.
Yeah.
Some of them were demolished and left like that. Some of them were demolished and they built another building in the site.
Yeah.
I wish I was around in that era to have enjoyed performances in those venues, but I think it's nice to reminisce, for you especially, because you had attended concerts there. It's nice to go take a trip down memory lane.
It means I'm getting old, basically.
Basically, yeah, that's exactly what it means. So thank you for taking me on that nostalgic trip with you.
No problem.
And now to address the question, is rock dead in Montreal? Well, I'll save my answer for later. What do you think?
Well, I think that the type of music has changed, obviously, what we consider to be rock. And for me, rock has always been guitars. Like it has to be heavy guitars, distortion. That for me is rock, AC/DC and that type of thing. But we're going to be asking also Annette Aghazarian, just to get somebody else's
Her take on it.
Her take on somebody else's feedback.
She's a writer at montrealrocks.ca.
Yes, go on montrealrocks.ca and check out her reviews. She's a very good writer.
Yeah, she's been reviewing a lot of shows, especially in the past year.
Yeah, and she reviewed the Blackberry Smoke Show, which we were there as well.
At the Theater. No pun intended.
Yep. So what do you think?
Okay, well, being in a band, living in Montreal, no, I do not think rock is dead in Montreal. Do I think it will come back like a cycle kind of thing? It might. People love retro vintage stuff. But I do think that rock is a very broad term, and there are tons of subgenres. So you could call prog rock, you could call surf rock. There's a ton of different genres, and there are venues that cater to audiences that want to hear these types of music. So there are still nice venues like Bar Le Ritz, Montreal. You have Olympia. You have Corona Theater, like we mentioned. Au Patrovis, a smaller venue. L'Esco Griff, Turbo House. So the rock vibe is alive and well in the city. Is it just...
So it's alive and well.
Yes. Is it on the forefront? Is it what most people listen to here? No. I don't think so. But it is alive and well.
Okay. So here we go now to our interview with Annette. Thanks for watching. See you guys next week.
Since you mentioned it, it's not rock now. There's so many genres. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
like people are mixing it up. They're calling it different things like stoner rock, doom rock, Eshungak. I'm sorry. No, like they're giving it all these prog rock, they're giving it different names, but is it all rock? That's my question.
They do the same thing now with punk and heavy metal. There is Roman metal. There's,
we gotta ask ourselves, what is rock? How do we classify rock? You know?
That's exactly it. Like when Greta Van Fleet came out a couple of years ago, everyone was like, oh wow, a revival of classic rock, right?
Right.
But I go to see a lot of shows where they're considered punk or heavy metal, but then they still sound a bit like classic rock. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
So I guess it's down to influences, I guess, where they draw their influences from.
Right, yeah.
Because remember, like, for example, we're about the same age, and you've been to a lot of shows as well, like, in the old times, and like, I guess I'm just comparing it to those times, and like 1992, I just realized while I was doing the research that 1992 had a lot of bands out there. It was a good time for music. And now I have a hard time finding stuff I like. I'm more inclined to go towards the outlaw country, alternative country, where I think rock is hiding somehow in that.
I'd like to add something to that. I think what you're looking for when you gravitate towards outlaw country is the attitude of the music, which might be the same attitude found in old time rock and roll.
Yeah.
Because it's that outlaw attitude, that I don't give a fuck attitude, that nowadays we don't really find in, I guess, on the radio, on music that's being mainstream rock radio, I want to say.
Here's the thing, it's just in Montreal, it's shown, okay? And my problem with Shom is they don't play all the stuff I listen to.
Right.
You know what?
Yeah.
They're very no. So I have, like, if you have Sirius, like satellite, if you have Spotify, if you have different platforms, right? You have access to whatever music you're looking for. You know what I mean?
I have a good story about the Shom FM. I was at work the other day. I work in this in the retail business, and I was talking about Shom FM, and this guy just happened to pass by us as I was making a remark, and he goes, "What? What'd you say about Shom?" And like he caught me off guard, and then it happened to be one of the DJs.
Oh.
The guy's name was Rockman.
Oh, Jason Rockman.
That's it. He just happened. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And then I had like a 50-minute conversation with him about. I told him I listened to Sirius XM for Outlaw Country and Ozzy's Boneyard, the channel, and all these things. And we discussed this a bit. He said that you could thank me for having what was that guy's name removed from Shom?
Kim Mitchell.
Yeah, Patio Lanterns guy.
Oh.
He goes, you could thank me for not hearing that anymore. It just happened to be passing as soon as I was making a remark.
I guess they have constraints when it comes to what songs they could play.
The radio plays what they're being paid to play 99.9% of the time.
Yeah.
So last year I went to see a band that was opening for another band, and they're a Montreal band. They're called Mooch. I don't know if you read my review.
Yes, actually, I saw it yesterday.
Okay. The guy sounds like Jim Morrison.
Really?
Yes. They play this like psychedelic 70s, very Zeppelin, Ozzy. That's why. So they opened up for another band, but I like them. That's often what happens is you catch the opening act and so I started talking to them and whatever. And then now they just released their first album, like in March.
On 420, I think.
Yeah, you saw that.
Yeah.
But the guys, I've spoken to them. They're really cool guys, and it's like they like the Doobie Brothers. They like Zeppelin. Like all because their parents, they're in their 20s, like you, Kev.
Like me, yeah.
So they grew up listening to their parents' really good classic rock.
Yeah.
So now they sort of recycled their version. They call it stoner rock, desert rock. They give it these titles, but it's just a recycling of classic rock, and they put a little twist on it. You know what I mean? But check out the album. So speaking of Jason Rockman, one thing leads to another. So their show got canceled. They were going to have an album release, and they're super polite, very nice. I call them kids. They're like in their 20s, you know?
Kids.
So they reached out to me in March saying, you know, could you review our album, please? I'm like, yeah, it's not like I'm doing anything. I'm at home, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, sure. So I want to get them on Showm just because, like, they should be on Showm. Their style of rock should be on Showm.
Yeah.
I reached out to program manager, what's his name? Pierre Landry.
Yeah.
He didn't answer me. And then I said, what the heck? I'm sort of friends with Jason Rockman on Instagram. So I sent him a little note. I said, listen, now during this pandemic, we should be supporting our local bands.
Cool.
Not giving more money to American bands, or nothing against American bands, but these guys now, their shot was they were going to have an album launch, they were going to have a show, they were going to be spotlight on them, and everything got canceled. And I felt really bad. So I said, do you think you'd play them on Showm, or what do you think? So I just sent him my album review. So it's not in his power though, 100%. But what Jason Rockman did was he took the album review, he put it on his page. He has like, I don't know how many thousand followers, I don't know. And he gave them a shout out. And he said, oh, check out this band. So he didn't have to do it. This is not like my best friend, but he listened to the album and he thought, yeah. And then he gave them a shout out, you know?
Yeah, cool. Well, you know, bands that sound like Jim Morrison, I mean, you take in the 90s, the Tea Party was huge. That guy, I always thought he sounded like. And then recently we've been listening to Danzig.
Yeah, a lot of Danzig.
Oh.
Danzig, and he was apparently, I didn't know this, on the first album of the Misfits, he was the singer.
Okay.
And he sounds like, I hear Jim Morrison a lot in his stuff. He has a new album just doing Elvis, and that's funny, a heavy metal Elvis.
It's really good, actually.
Yeah. It's worth it to check it out on Spotify.
I would say though his solo albums, they're a cross between, I guess, the Jim Morrison type voice and Black Sabbath heavy riffs.
Yeah.
So if you marry those two together, that's kind of what.
Okay, like this Mooch album. Okay, they call themselves Desert Rock.
There you go.
I'll tell you where that originated, actually. Josh Homme from Queens of the Stone Age, his old band.
Yes. And Kios. How do you pronounce it? Huh?
Caius, I think.
Caius. I don't even know how to pronounce it. Okay.
Where they detune their guitars, and they're from that, I guess, California, Arizona area. So that's why it's Desert Rock.
Yeah, and it's like a fuzz. Like there's a lot of fuzz.
Yeah, it kills the cymbals in the mix, but still, I like it. I like it a lot.
Okay, check out the Mooch album, because like I started listening to it. I'm like, oh my God, this guy sounds like Jim Morrison.
Yeah, I listened to their songs.
Okay, it's their first album. Like they have potential. Do you know what I mean? But I think Showm could play one or two tracks. They could do it. But I already reached out and I didn't really get much of a response. So I'm kind of disappointed in Showm, but it is what it is.
It's a monopoly anyway, so.
It's a business.
Yeah.
So they're doing their jobs. That's it. There's they have one female of all the DJs on Showm. There's one woman on the whole thing ever. There's no women. And they don't.
Actually, my favorite DJ on Outlaw Country is a female. It's Elizabeth Cook, who's also a singer. Very, very popular. She used to be a regular on David Letterman before.
Okay.
She's very good, and for me, she's like the best DJ there is.
Oh, okay.
With her selection of songs. So yeah, I agree with you. There's not enough women, and the guys are sort of like recycled, I guess.
Yeah.
You know.
Like, yeah. Now that I'm home, I rarely ever listen to the radio. It's mostly I'm on the internet or it's Spotify. You know.
Yeah. Same here. I mean, XM Sirius gave like for a month and a half free during the pandemic. It just finished like a few days ago. Believe it or not, I didn't tune in once because for me, Sirius XM is for my car. And I'm a guy that likes to listen to music alone. It's weird, but I like to listen to music alone.
No, me too.
You know?
Yeah.
It's when I'm in the car by myself, that's where I enjoy it the most.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, yeah.
So it's funny. I go, I'll catch up with Elizabeth Cook and the other DJs. There's that wrestler has a show also, Hillbilly Jim.
Okay.
Remember him? Hillbilly Jim was a wrestler around our time. He's very good.
Oh, wow.
They're all musicians. Steve Earle has a.
Yeah, Steve Earle.
These guys are all DJs on Outlaw Country.
Okay.
It's curated by Lil Steven, by the way.
Lil Steven from Springsteen?
Yes. It's I believe it's his channel, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. So I think the genre of classic rock really, maybe that's kind of dying out, but there's still a lot of bands. I was supposed to see Dirty Honey. It got canceled. Have you heard of Dirty Honey?
I saw them at Heavy MTL last year, actually, on one of the smaller stages.
I was supposed to see them at Fufun.
Oh, cool.
Well, Kev likes them a bit more than I do. I didn't get into them.
No, they're not. They're not. It's like a Motley Crue kind of stuff. That's not my thing.
You say Motley Crue. I think it's more old school Guns N' Roses with Aerosmith, maybe. But
a little too polished for me. So
it might be a little too polished.
So, when they're trying to give a certain sound or certain look, I don't know how to put it. If it should be a little more effortless, So.
So right now, you're saying is rock dead in Montreal?
Yeah.
Ironically, I had tickets to ZZ Top that it was supposed to be to a couple of nights ago. It got obviously canceled. I think a lot of classic rock bands are still coming here, and people are going. It's just an older crowd.
It's just for nostalgia, exactly like it's happening right now. When we did the shooting, for me it was nostalgic. I was going to go to that show actually for the opening act. For
Cheap Trick.
For Cheap Trick more than ZZ Top, because ZZ Top is actually not very good live.
I never saw that.
You could see a few recent shows on YouTube. They came last year again. It's the same venue. And it wasn't great. I had a friend that went.
I guess it's not a humongous sound.
They're more produced in a studio.
Yeah.
So they can't recreate it live. They're three guys aging. So.
Yeah. But because I've never seen them and I wanted to bring my son.
Yeah.
So I actually bought tickets. Now that's another story with the refunding.
Yeah.
They said postponed. So wait and see now. Like, are you going to get your money? That's a shaft. Yeah, that's a shaft right there.
Well, I hope they do come back, because I think I'd like to go see Cheap Trick. So.
Yeah, I like Cheap Trick too.
Yeah, I was a big fan of Cheap Trick. Cheap Trick, the Cars.
Yeah, but that's like the 80s, 90s kind of sound.
Yeah, from late 80s. Even 78.
Late 70s.
Yeah, the car started in 78, believe it or not, and they ended in 88.
And you have the Live at Budokan album from Cheap Trick, which is 72. So I guess it covers a few decades,
72. The Budokan, no, I think it was 78.
Oh, okay.
No, it's not 78.
Actually, speaking of Montreal bands, I'm a big fan of Elephant Stone.
Yeah, I saw that you reviewed them.
I've seen them twice. So it was canceled again, but Montreal has a psychedelic fest every year.
Yeah.
It's all these I don't know, psychedelic bands, whatever they want to call it. But the guy what makes them different is because the guy plays sitar, right?
Cool.
I think his name is Rishi.
Yeah.
So Shom supports him a lot. And
yeah.
I like the sound of their band, though. Have you heard any, aside from what they...
I think once, it's bad, but this is a bad part. I don't give new bands too much of a chance. I don't go in there with an open mind. I admit it.
Oh.
Okay,
no, that's fine.
But once I like a band, forget it. I'll be listening to them like.
You know what? Elephant Stone has some really, really good tracks, and they're so fun to see live because they have crazy guitarist, and then all of a sudden the guy just breaks out into his sitar So he's doing sitar. The main guy's doing electric guitar. It gets really psychedelic. I'll send you a clip.
Okay.
I've seen them play like twice. I've seen them live twice.
What do you think of Margot? You met her, right?
I did, yeah.
From Cowboy Junkies.
You know what? She's so sweet. She's so real. She's so authentic. And she said after the show, I want to come and talk to people. And like, she was very open and friendly.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can't get more zen than her, right? Those songs and her, you know.
Yeah, I had like a meltdown at that show.
Really?
I did, yeah. I'd never seen them perform before. And my early 20s, I had the cassette of the Trinity sessions.
Yep.
On a cassette. And I used to play that. I used to drive my father's Oldsmobile and play that cassette over and over and over again. I knew every song off by heart, right?
Yeah.
And I had like a dramatic breakup with a boyfriend during that time. So it's like, you know, your breakup music.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, music is powerful. Music is powerful. Brings us back to certain points in our life, you know.
Right. So we get to the venue. We sit down. I was with my husband. Everything's great. She starts singing. And I start to sob uncontrollably. And I think I cried the entire like 2 hours. And my husband was looking at me like, stop it. Like, people are going to think we're fighting. Like, I was so emotionally overwhelmed. That's never, ever, ever happened to me. I've seen like thousands of shows. I cried like a baby. And then I told Steve, I'm like, I got to go talk to her. He was so embarrassed. And then she came out and I went and I like grabbed her. And I was like, oh, I love you. Like an idiot.
When you posted that picture, I was like blown away because I hadn't seen her in like since those days of
30 years.
Yeah, and then I see her with white hair and everything.
Hair.
For me, it was like,
Shock.
you know, I was in a time warp or something. You know?
It really hit me also because we're probably around the same age as her. She's in her 50s. So, like, she was part of like this part of my life, right, in my 20s, and I became very nostalgic. Do you know what I mean? But her voice was exactly the way it was, like live or cassette. That was it.
Well, she never really screamed, right? So she was always like mellow. So her voice was kept like. I mean.
But over time, your voice changes anyway.
I mean, like, so I look at her and I think of the song Lou Reed's "Sweet Jane" that she covered, you know. And
yeah.
So
it was, So, but I don't know, Zach. You know, I'm trying to think now. You're saying Cowboy Junkies. Yeah, what was the last show I saw? Well, it was Blackberry Smoke.
That's right, where we ran into each other.
Yeah, March 11th.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean.
Like a lifetime ago.
That's a band I discovered on Outlaw Country.
Right.
I mean, and they're getting pretty big with Charlie Starr, the frontman, and
But they've been around for a while, though.
Shows sometimes how long it takes for a band to really get famous. We're lucky because I think they did the Ottawa show the next day, and then everything.
That was Ottawa was
hot shows for them.
Yeah.
Speaking of radio and Blackberry Smoke, so I had posted my review of Blackberry Smoke.
Yeah.
And you know Ted Bird?
Yes.
Well, I know him, but I don't really know him.
Yeah.
So I had posted the review on the website, and then he answered, and he's like, "Thank you so much for doing this review." And he says this band doesn't get any recognition.
Oh, he was there.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, he was there. I saw him writing that he was there. I think maybe he quoted on your link, or I saw somewhere he quoted about it. He was there, I believe.
Right. Oh, actually, who else was there? I often go to shows and I see like radio personalities and other bandmates are there.
Yeah.
Like Bilal, I've seen him at shows.
Yeah.
I was at Jade Bird. You know what's a really nice theater? On Park Avenue. Is the Fairmount? Yeah, Le Fairmount. Have you been there?
No. Is it on Fairmount?
No, it's on Park Avenue.
Well, Club Soda used to be on the corner of Fairmount and Park Avenue.
It's the old Club Soda.
That's what I thought, yeah.
Yeah. So I saw Jade Bird there. and Lee and her husband from The Damn Truth.
Yeah.
They were both there, and you couldn't miss them because he's wearing this like leopard skin shirt with his big hair, and he's wearing eyeliner, kind of.
Yeah.
Like they're very rock and roll. So I walked in, and I'm like, I did a double take, like, who the hell is that? And I'm like, oh shit, it's The Damn Truth.
Yeah, they made a name for themselves here locally, I guess. I don't know if Canada as well.
They're a band that I really like their sound, but I feel bad that right now they're not going anywhere, obviously with the COVID situation, but I don't think they did tour Europe, and they opened up for ZZ Top on the ZZ Top's Canadian tour for a bit, but I don't think they have too much international success right now. No,
It's a very niche band.
I saw them once by fluke, actually. I was in the old port, and they were playing.
Yeah.
And it was a total coincidence. I stayed for the rest of their set. It was a good sound, but it's not a band I listen to, let's say, on Spotify. It's not something, it wouldn't be my first choice to listen to, but live, I feel like it's a band that it's a band that you want to see live as opposed to really listening to their albums.
Okay, so they opened up for I've seen them a few times, but they opened up for the Sheepdogs at Metropolis.
Okay.
And I love the Sheepdogs.
Yeah.
I've seen them twice. Have you seen them?
Yeah. No, I haven't.
No.
I've heard their music.
Okay, you should get into it, Rafi, because they're like
Allman Brothers a bit.
Allman Brothers, Southern rock, classic rock.
Thing with the guitars.
Yes,
yeah.
And they're fantastic. I've seen them live twice, and they blew me away. They're so entertaining, and their musicianship is tight. Like, they're not playing around. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, they know what they're doing. They're not faking it.
I think they're from Saskatchewan or something.
Yes, they're from Saskatchewan. They're like feel-good rock. I listen to those Sheepdogs, and I'm in a good mood.
It's major key rock.
Huh?
These are songs that are in major keys. It makes you feel happy, you know.
Exactly, yeah. But you should listen to more Sheepdogs. You'd like them, Raf, because they have a southern rock sound.
Good, yeah.
I'll check them out. Them out. Again, like I said, all these bands, I'm guilty of not giving enough attention to them, and I should.
They even have a few tracks that remind me of CCR a little bit, like a
really
Fogarty sound. Yes, yeah.
But the montrealrocks.ca link up online too, and so people.
But I look really shitty though.
Don't worry about
it.
That's okay. We all look shitty. So, and check out Annette on montrealrocks.ca and check out her reviews. Thank you, Annette.
And the Deker niet net, huh?
No, we're gonna put a mustache on your face too.
Okay, take it easy, guys.
You too. Take care. Thanks, Annette.
All right, take care. Okay, bye-bye.